It is Wednesday, and our word of the week this week comes from friend of the channel, Noel, who requested that we take a deep dive into, and our word of the week is Corban. And this is from a recent episode of Koine Corner where we read the verse that contains the word Corban. So Corban is a gift or a religious offering, and it's an interesting word in that it is not originally a Hebrew word. It comes from a loaner word from Assyrian, Karbanu, and it was later incorporated into Hebrew, and there you can see Corban in Hebrew for those of you who are familiar with the Hebrew characters. And it moved then to Aramaic, and by the time we get to Koine, it's not a Koine word, it is a transliteration from the Hebrew word Corban, and then we see it in Koine as a transliteration immediately followed by an explanation of its meaning. So what is Corban? It's anything given to a god or God as an offering. It can be a goat, a bull, a dove, gold, silver, copper, anything that's dedicated to God as an offering. So let's take a look at Leviticus chapter 1, verse 13. But the entrails and the legs he shall wash with water, and the priest shall offer all of it and burn it on the altar. It is a burnt offering, and the word offering here is korban in Hebrew, a food offering with a pleasant aroma to the Lord. So let's jump to the New Testament, and we'll start out looking at an unfit or an improper offering. This is the story of Judas. And throwing down the pieces of silver into the temple, he departed, and he went and hanged himself. But the chief priests, taking the pieces of silver, said, "It is not lawful to put them into the treasury, ton korbanan, since it is blood money." So in the temple, there's a money box. There's a place where people can make monetary offerings, pledges to God of money rather than an animal or a sheaf of wheat or anything like that. So if you think of the story of the widow's mite, she goes and takes a tiny little mite, the smallest unit of currency, to drop it into the box. This is the money box where korbanon, ton korbanon, is the offering box where you make a monetary offering to God. But we're not going to take the blood money that was given to Judas to betray Jesus and put it into the treasury because it's blood money. It's not a proper offering to God. So instead they buy a field with it to bury the indigent. So let's go to the most prominent use of the word korban in the New Testament. Mark chapter 7, we'll read verses 10 through 13. For Moses said, "Honor your father and your mother, and whoever reviles father or mother must surely die. But you say, if a man tells his father or his mother, whatever you would have gained from me is korban, that is, given to God, then you no longer permit him to do anything for his father or mother, thus making void the word of God by your tradition that you have handed down, and many such things you do." So look at our word of the week, korban, transliterated from Hebrew, immediately followed by ho estin doron, which is a gift or an offering. So if you go to the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Old Testament, you'll see that the occurrences of korban are mostly translated doron, which is a koine word, which means a gift or an offering. So what Jesus says to the religious leaders is, you're justifying failing to follow the commandment to honor your father and your mother by using this pledge of a financial offering to God. You're saying we're not sinning by not taking care of our parents because those resources, the resources we would have used to take care of our parents, have been pledged to God. And it's very important that that commandment supersedes the other one, right? My My pledge to God is more important than my duty to my earthly parents. So when I accumulate enough to fulfill the pledge, then I'll give it to God. But until then, I'm still working on accumulating it. And if my parents are not in good maintenance, that's just too bad because I have a higher calling. Let's look at that higher calling in Numbers 30, verse 2. If a man vows a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by a pledge, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. So this is the loophole. Of course, I would love to provide for my parents, but I have a duty to make good on this pledge, this pledged offering, this Corban to God. So Jesus says, this is an example of the way that you dodge your responsibilities. This is your brand of sophistry. You say, I'm not being disobedient to that commandment. I'm working on fulfilling this higher pledge, this higher duty. I said I would make a gift to God, and if I take care of my parents, that's going to forestall my gift to God, this offering to God. And therefore, I'm not ignoring my parents. I'm working on fulfilling this pledge to God. And trust me, someday I'm going to come up with enough to do it. So, Corban, anything that is dedicated and given or given as an offering or a gift to God, whether it's a goat, a bull, a dove, wheat, rye, barley, gold, silver, copper, whatever that may be, it is Corban from Korbanu in the Assyrian, and later in the Greek, doron, anything that's given as an offering. So, Noel, I hope that fulfills your interest in a deeper dive, and if not, let me know and I'll try and dig deeper, although I don't know how much more I can find on that word. Remember, sophistry is something that looks like wisdom, but is really just trying to be a wise guy. So thanks for watching. Hope that was good for you. If it was, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And until next time, Kars Kai Rene Yumin, grace and peace to you.